Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back, week 3 of 12 for the FMA GT3 Championship. This week we head to the land down under to a track that you don't see a whole lot in league racing, PHILLIP Island. So we'll see how our 40-plus drivers can do here tonight in the GT3 machinery as they take on the twists and turns here at PHILLIP Island. Welcome in, this is Richard Nexus. I'm Rob Campbell in the booth with me as usual. The man, the myth, the guy who has never called in on a sick day for FMA GT3 racing, Richard Swindells. Welcome in, Rich.
Hey, I'm glad to be here. No need to call in sick when you're sick all the time, Rob. Here we are, PHILLIP Island, and you know, like you said, it's not used very often for league racing, but somehow I've raced this in pretty much every category of car I race, and I'm a big fan. I know we may differ on this one here, but I think we're going to have an exciting race tonight.
Yeah, I think you're big into the open wheel, and I think a lot of the open wheel series and leagues do visit here quite a bit in the officials and in the leagues. But speaking of which, we did say we are at PHILLIP Island. Let's take a look at the track information here this evening. 2.74 miles in length, only 12 turns, and we're just barely above sea level. I think actually, I don't know if they've changed it yet or not, Rich, but you used to be able to drive off the end of, I think it's turn 3 towards the water, and there's a bit of a jump. You can launch yourself right into oblivion with the iRacing nether realm. So I'm not sure if they changed that over the years or not, but 75-degree Fahrenheit track temp, 68-degree Fahrenheit air temp, no rain in the forecast. So just the other drivers on track and the track itself are drivers going to have to deal with here this evening. But let's take a look at our calendar. We're already into week 3. Seems like the season has gone by pretty quick so far. We started off at Daytona. Last week we went to St. Pete, which was exciting. If you want to watch some tough racing and a lot of calamity at the start of the race, tune into that VOD on the channel at St. Pete. But here we are at PHILLIP Island this week. Next week we're going to head to Spa, which just hosted the 24-hour CrowdStrike series or race in real life this past weekend. So this league will be heading there next week, and then we're going to head to Zolder after that for round 5, and then the halfway point of the season is going to see us off to Road America. Looking forward to the next 3 races for sure, Rich.
Oh yeah, some of our favorites, Rob. That's an awesome schedule, guys. Nice choices.
Yeah, it's a lot of good tracks that I enjoy broadcasting, just because the track itself and the racing always just tends to be a good, clean racing. But let's take a look at the format for the race here. They had their 80 minutes of practice in the middle of qualifying. They get 3 laps within the 10 minutes of qualifying. Then we have 45-minute race coming up. They have unlimited amounts of tires. 0 fast repairs. 20 incident points will net them a drive-through penalty. Another 10 after that will be another drive-through penalty. Fixed setup, 60% fuel, which means they usually start coming into pits to top up at about the halfway point into about the 10-minute to go mark or so in the race. So, Rich?
Yeah, that's pit entry here is a little tricky if I go by my memory, and I think lots of time to be had and gained on pit entry and pit exit here.
Yeah, it's a tricky pit exit too as well. We'll have to watch. I think iRacing changed it a couple seasons back where you had that alternate pit exit where you could kind of cut right out at the end of pit road, and it basically merged you right on the front straight, where somebody wasn't aware, you'd be coming right out in their path, where the normal, I guess the preferred exit out of pit lane is you run that long kind of side road that takes you into exit of turn one. Looks Chase Matsko disqualified in qualifying. We'll have to see what that's all about. That could have been just done by himself, as he is one of the admins here. So we'll see if he's maybe just giving himself a end of line penalty. But speaking of penalties here, Marshall Crocker Jr. has yet to set in a lap time here, Rich. With only 2 minutes and 50 seconds left to go, he's running out of time here quick.
Well, did he get a penalty for last week that we don't know about, Rob? I'm not sure, but
I think it was just Bronco and somebody else. I don't think it was Marshall got a penalty at all.
Well, he's coming around here towards the end of this lap, so I don't think we have to worry about him being able to set a lap as long as he keeps it on track. But oh, look who's back, Uncle Tank.
Yeah, we haven't seen Uncle Tank for a while here, but he's back. He surprising for track to see him at PHILLIP Island, but maybe it's one of his favorites here. But he's back in the Aston, Rich, which we're used to seeing him drive. But as I said, that Marshall Crocker Jr. has put in his lap, and he's put himself up into second place, in behind Travis Roberto. Alex Jacobson currently sitting in third. But our resident Aussie right now, no surprise to see him up in the top 5 here, Rich. Currently sitting in 4th place is Chris Lashbrook.
Yeah, he seems to do that on our side of the pond as well, so it's certainly not a surprise. I know Chris is really, really happy about the season schedule. Lots of racing in Australia for him.
Yeah, we got another track coming up later on, Sandown. I think we have Adelaide as 2 as well. Let me take a quick
I think he gets here. 3 out of the 12.
Royal Belle Isle. No Adelaide this season. We were at Adelaide last season. So he had Adelaide last season. He's got PHILLIP Island and Sandown this season. So we're hitting almost all of them. If we hit Oran Park, I think that's pretty much it for the Aussie tracks. Oh, Winton, I think is. But I'm not actually surprised how many Australian tracks we have. But Anthony Bronco, he is one of the drivers who's going to have to serve an end-of-line penalty, if I heard right from Chase Matsko in the pre-race briefing.
Yeah, that's stewards were a little busy last week, but Jacob Williams, that's a really nice livery we've got on Jacob Williams' car there, Rob. I'm kind of liking that Ferrari.
Rogue Energy has got the Iron Horse Motorsports sticker on the front. Kind of miss seeing them all driving the Mustangs that we saw last season, Rich, where they were all pretty much in the same car, or sorry, same paint scheme. They just had a different color for each car out there. But Jim Bejoy, new driver this season, currently going to call it quits on his qualifying. Adam Brady, one of the FR Racing drivers, currently in 28th place. Over 40 cars set to grid up here. And I believe 42 is the current official count in the session here. We'll see if all those drivers do make it to the grid here, Rich. But what do you think that's going to make for into turn 1 here?
I think turn 1's not going to be bad. It's going to be turn 2. Turn to the southern loop, the place where you can go off into the ocean if you don't handle it right. Turn 2, we're going to lose a few cars for sure. Oh, and speaking of losing it, there's Cody Deek. And just had an update there, Mr. Producer Man. It looks like Mark Nelson is up to pro. He's no longer a pro-am, so that's what the rumor has it.
Rumor has it. Interesting. We'll have to see if Matt Mars, I think he might actually mention that to me and I forgot all about it. So we'll get him fixed up here in a little bit, but it's time to take a look at the grid here, Rich, and see how our drivers are going to stack up to start this one. On the first row, we're going to have Marshall Crocker Jr., who was able to take top spot away from Travis Roberto on his second qualifying lap. Roberto going to start to his outside, with Alex Jacobson and Chris Lashbrook starting in behind them in row number 2. Row number 3, we're going to find Jacob Dick in 5th with Ryder Poe to his outside. Well, he's got a Wraps by Matt paint job on that thing, starting in the outside of row 3. In row 4, we're going to find Nigel Steele in 7th with Mark Nelson, the newly promoted pro driver, starting in 8th place. In 9th place, Steven Zabziter and Anthony Jenkins going to start in 10th.
Now, row 6, we have Zachary Uncle Tank Tankersley and Kyle Mavis.
Oh, that's me. Sorry, I was trying to adjust Mark Nelson. Get him after. There you go.
Row 7, we've got Nathan Fuller and Jacob Williams. On row 8 in 15th place, Gustavo Ferraro and Jody Nielsen in 16th. 17th place, we got Jeremy Eschleman and Dustin Wells in 18th. And on row 10, 19th place, Chase Matsko. In 20th, Paxton Frith.
And 21st, Fernando Rosario going to start there with Connor Sturgos to his outside in McLaren. 23rd place is going to be Anthony Bronco with Alex Berger with Stebo as his profile picture in 24th place. 25th is going to be Broughton Jones with Max Verstappen smoking a nice recreational
Right on Max.
device there. And then 26th is going to be Sash Andrick in his outside. Justin Moskowitz with Fievel the Mouse in 27th place. Adam Brady in 28th. 29th is going to be Timothy Dunn with Faraz Ibrahim. It's a sharp looking paint on that Ferrari, Rich, in 30th.
And 31st, we've got Ryan Robertson. 32nd, Tony Sorrentino. 33rd, we have Alexander Katori. And in 34th, we've got Nicholas Tucker. 35th place is Curtis Kinneker and PJ Wentline in 36th. On row 19 and 37th, we've got Jay Davis. In 38th, Jimin Bajoy. And on row 20, 39th place, we've got Aaron Stevens. In 40th, we've got Megan Gazzoni.
And then rounding out the 42 car grid, we got Mark Ossier and Cody Deek. And it looks like everybody but PJ Wentline has grid up here, Rich. So we'll see if maybe he's taking a pit lane start on that one. But we're going to have at least 41 cars heading into turn one.
This is going to be awesome. I've watched a lot of I've participated in a lot of races here, Rob. I've broadcast a couple, but I don't know if I've been involved in any with 41 or 42 cars. So this is this is going to be something special.
Buckle in, Rich, because I think it's going to be a ton of fun out here. We've got Mark Nelson into the correct class there now, into his proper pro class. So we'll keep an eye on him, see what that promotion does for his psyche. But looks like Marshall Crocker and Travis Roberto fell back a little bit behind the pace car. Now they're trying to catch up. We're doing a full pace lap here. Rich, kind of talk us through some of the key passing points at Phillip Island.
Well, I think the biggest passing point really is turn one. You're coming off the big sweeper to finish off this lap here, turns 11 and 12, going down the Gardner Straight, where you're going to get a little bit of a draft going into Dewan Corner turn one, and really that's the best passing opportunity. Another possible spot is going into turn 4 Miller Corner, which is a hairpin. You can kind of make some moves there if you get lucky, but then there's a lot of follow the leader. Here's a spot for the Brave here. Coming around turn 10, hard downhill right-hander. This is really setting you up for your best passing opportunity. Going around the big sweeping corner that's a little difficult to navigate. It's got a tight radius at the beginning. It a little widens open up towards the end, and that leads down to the straightaway. Pace car is off. Drivers are getting ready. They're on the last corner here, Rob. Just a couple hundred more meters, and they're going to get going.
Yeah, there they go. 45 minutes of action set to kick off underway here. Crocker Jr. and Roberto going to lead them into turn one. Oh, a little bit of bump in there between Roberto and Crocker as they head into turn one, fanning out 2, 3, 4, 5 wide into turn one here, Rich. We'll see if everybody gets themselves sorted out, but it looks like Marshall Crocker Jr. going to hold on to top spot. Go back a little bit farther in the field here. It looks like, for the most part, it looks like everybody got through. Oh, we got a couple cars off. Right now, it looks like Uncle Tank might have been Chris Lashbrook, our resident Aussie, got involved in that one. Unfortunate for him, the back end of that Ferrari is missing a wing, missing some body paneling. Looks a little bit like a Pontiac Fiero here now for anybody of that vintage that would recognize that car.
I am of that vintage, and Lashbrook can't be very happy there. Not the start he was looking for. Taking a look at the race action here, though, a little bit in the midfield, I should say midfield. That's Jacob Dick in third place. Anthony Jenkins in fourth. The prototype driver getting back into the GT3s and doing it quite well on board here with Anthony Jenkins. Anthony Jenkins going up here, coming into turn 10. This is a little difficult corner here. blind over the crest. Then you got to get the balance on it, get on the brakes going down the hill, going into turn 10, set yourself for the big sweep around 11. So, so far so good. We've lost less drivers than I thought we would, Rob, on lap 1, but unfortunately, a couple of issues there for Lashbrook and Baranko, and not the start that either driver wanted.
Looks like Connor Sturgis just went sideways just for the Chase Matsko in the picture-in-pictures. We popped it up there, so another driver losing out here on lap number 1. But when you were talking about Sorrentino going through turn 10, Rich, I think that, you know what, I think for me that's a harder corner to navigate through than turn 2 and 3, that long sweeping left-hander, just because of the fact that you're coming up blind over the crest and you can't really see the braking marker until you get just to the very top of the crest. And depending what car you're in, at GT3 you got ABS, so you can get into the brakes pretty heavily, but if you're in like an open wheel car with no ABS control there, it can get real dicey coming down that hill real quick.
Yeah, that's what makes it fun, Rob. That's what makes it fun. As we take a look here at Steven Zabster, the number 69 car, currently in 9th place, or 9th, he's 8th place now. So Zabster having himself a good effort so far. He's up 1 position. Up ahead of him, though, Kyle Mavis is up 5 already, Rob. So Kyle Mavis, the Iron Horse Motorsports driver, he's having a great season thus far, and he's on a tear again early on at Phillip Island.
Yeah, he's looking good. We'll see if maybe he can go back-to-back here, Rich, with, or I guess be back-to-back with podium finishes to start off the season, but he's putting a ton of pressure on Nigel Steele. Nigel Steele, our AM driver, one of our AM drivers, I should say, up into 6th place right now. So what a start for him. Qualified well, up 1 spot, but he's showing he belongs up in the front right now, Rich.
Yeah, that's a couple of drivers not in the pro category mixing it up near the top of the field. So Nigel Steele, yeah, he was, if going by memory, he was pretty strong last week as well, at least for parts of the race, and definitely having some good pace right now. Kyle Mavis moving up. Whoa, somebody's off, it looked like they're doing. I'm just seeing things anyhow. I'm just seeing things, folks.
With it. I think that might have been Bronco. I just got flagged for him going off, but once things settle down here a little bit, we'll go back and take a look at what happened on the first lap. But speaking of settling down, Marshall Crocker Jr. and Travis Roberto have shot out from the rest of the field right now. They have opened up 3 seconds over Jacob Dick in 3rd place. They're not waiting around to try and get wrapped up in any kind of incident we have here, Rich. They're trying to get away, but Jacob Dick himself trying to bring Anthony Jenkins along to see if they can reel back in those top 2, but looks like they got their work cut out for them right now.
Yeah, definitely. It's we've got 3 Ferraris up front, but hey, we got then a Porsche and a BMW right behind, so it's not all Ferraris up there tonight, Rob. That's nice to see. You take a look at Jeremy Ashman. He is in a Ferrari, though. Jeremy Ashman in 17th, trying to hunt down Fernando Rosario, but Fernando Rosario is up 5 positions on the day. Fernando Rosario looking to keep moving up right now. The pro driver is 8th in class right now, 16th overall, up 5 positions, with Chase Matsko up a couple of seconds up ahead of him, and Chase Matsko is up 4 positions. So, whoa, we got some good hard battling here. Rosario, Ashman diving to the inside. Like, he's back and forth, and coming into turn 1, they're going to go side by side, a little side-by-side action here. Ashman backing out of it, but he's going to go the long way around. Not necessarily the easiest way to go, but Ashman has to back out. Rosario holds him off for now.
Yeah, if they continue to battle, they're going to let our driver who's made the biggest gains right now, Anthony Tony Sorrentino, he's currently sitting at 18th place, up 14 spots, Rich. I didn't stutter on that one. That was 14 spots he's gained so far in 4 laps. A lot of that due to some unfortunate circumstances for a number of other drivers, Chris Lashbrook and Anthony Bronco, 2 of them that are down a number of spots, but you got to take those positions when they come to you.
Yeah, there's freebies are freebies, and you're not going to turn them down. But most of those positions are by passing on track. So Sorrentino off to a stellar start. Nathan Fuller sitting in 9th place. He's having a decent effort thus far. He's up 4 positions. So Nathan Fuller, that beautiful livery, that blue car, that blue Ferrari, he's sitting there behind Alex Jacobson with Nigel Steele just a half a second behind. So Nigel's really holding his own here, down 3 positions, but still in the top 10.
As we take a look here at Steven Sabster and Alex Jacobson. Jacobson going to make the move around on him to pick up that spot here. So Jacobson's going to continue his move up through the field here, Rich. He's a driver who has had a good start of the season here after having a rough season last season where he had that back half that just didn't really go his way, but looks like he's kind of worked out the kinks here, Rich.
Yeah, Jacobson's always had great pace. Just hasn't had any victories. So one of those drivers, it's got to happen sooner or later, especially with pace and hopefully a little more consistency thus far this season. Taking a look here, we got Alex Jacobson. We keep talking. I mean, he gets kudos from all the other pro drivers. I know Marshall Crocker Jr. talked him up a bunch last season. I'm not sure who else did, but Jacobson is continuing to battle here and trying to hunt down Kyle Mavis. Jacobson down 4 positions. Not the start he wanted, but he's definitely got the car going with some good pace now. So he's driving the same pace as everybody else up ahead of him, except for Marshall Crocker Jr., Travis Roberta, who are just on, they're on their own planet right now. Keeping it on in the inset, we've got Travis Roberto taking a look at the leaders. The Barbie car against the Plaid car, folks. So we got Barbie, we've got Plaid, 1-2. They got themselves a 4.5 second gap. Yeah, that's 4.5 seconds already early into this race. We're only 8 minutes in. They've gapped everybody else by 4.5 seconds, but here's a real nice little battle going on here. Alex Jacobson taking a look here, taking a good look at Kyle Mavis. So Jacobson's lost a few positions, but now he's looking to get them back. He's all over the back of Mavis thus far. So far, so good, though. Mavis doing a good job holding off Jacobson, but Ryder Poe liking that battle. He's up a 1.5 seconds ahead of him.
And Ryder Poe, the Wraps by Matt paint driver, doing well here. New driver to the league this season, and he's doing well here in the pro class. Rich sitting in 5th place, up 1 spot from where he qualified, although he's got Anthony Jenkins just up ahead of him. But Kyle Mavis still showing us he potentially might belong in the pro class, but Steven Sabster as well. He's had a strong season to start this one too as well. And we didn't see him much in the back half of last season, Rich, but he's really started off the start of this season really well.
That's for sure, yeah. See, whoa, we got a little action going down there, going down the straightaway. We got some people giving the razzle-dazzle. Hey, don't do that, folks. Just don't do that. I mean, unless you're coming around to lap somebody, just don't do it.
Oh, we are pro razzle-dazzle here, Rich. You give the razzle-dazzle all you want. I love it. Tell that driver ahead of you to move out of the way. Razzle and dazzle him.
You know what's funny? I don't even, unless it's a night race, I don't even see it because I'm not looking at you in the rearview mirror. Like, I'm just not looking. I'm looking ahead, folks. That's what you do. You're a race car driver. You're looking ahead.
You got to look behind you, too, as well. You find out where you can block that guy. I mean, hold him off. Defensive driving. Speaking of defensive driving, we got Paxton Frith and Sasha Andrick battling it out here. Frith in the Corvette. Rich loves seeing that, but he's trying to hold off the Lambo of Andrick, another one of the cars that Richard, actually, I think we're starting to realize here, Richard likes about half of the GT3 field here, and he's a little impartial to the rest of the field. But Sasha Andrick up 3 spots into 23rd place, just ahead of Nicholas Tucker. He is up 10 spots, so nice run here for Nicholas Tucker in the Mercedes. We don't have too many Mercedes on the grid. Actually, I think he might be the lone Mercedes on the grid here this week. Rich, a car that we saw a ton of last season. Looks like all those drivers could have jumped ship into the Ferrari.
Yeah, they did. And you know, I got to admit, I'm a mid-engine fan. I mean, so Corvette mid-engine, the Lambo. What's a Lambo? McLaren. I mean, come on. Like, these are they're not just exotics. These are the cars for me, Rob. But in real life. But we'll take a look here. Speaking of real life, we're taking a look at real racing here, folks. Dustin Wells, the racing for the big cheese. And he's up in 12th place, so up 6 positions. He's second in class right now. And looks like he's only about 3 seconds behind Nigel Steele, who's up in 10th and first in class.
Yeah, and we're focused on Jody Nielsen right now. I'm going to think maybe Jody didn't watch the broadcast last week, Rich, where we were pleading for him to bring back the Team Losi Racing paint scheme. He's denied us again this week, so we'll see if maybe our answers, our calls are answered next week when we head to Spa, if he brings back that paint scheme. But yeah, he's the meat and the sandwich here between this AM battle of Nigel Steele and Dustin Wells. So Dustin Wells also in the battle with he and Alex Berger in the battle of the pets, the Big Cheese versus Stebo. Right now, the Big Cheese leading that battle.
Yeah, the Big Cheese led that battle last season as well, but don't count out Stebo yet. So nice to see Alexander Berger having himself a solid effort in 20th place, up 4 positions. Up ahead of him, though, Timothy Dunn is up 10 positions, Rob. So that is outstanding. So kudos to Timothy Dunn, 7th place in Pro-Am class.
He's doing well, and then I thought maybe he was going to clip the back of that Ferrari up ahead of him. I think that's Barranco just ahead of him, a lap down, but looks like they got that sorted out. But looks like things kind of settled down here a little bit, Rich. Let's see if we can have time here to go back now, as I promised, and take a look at what happened on lap number 1 to see, it's surprising we got through turn 1 fairly cleanly, but then things kind of just went a little sideways after that into turn 3 and 4, and it looks like maybe Anthony Barranco might have been the driver had the first issue there. Oh, looks like he got caught up with, I think, for Gustavo Ferraro there, lost his bumper before we even got to the green flag, so he already had that end-of-line penalty. Lost the front bumper heading into the pits to try and get that repaired, so this race did not start off very well for Mr. Anthony Barranco, but we spoke of it, our lone Aussie in the field here, Chris Lashbrook, heading into turn 2, got wrapped up in something. Looks like he was on the outside. I think that might have been Jacobson, I think, on the inside. They tangled a little bit. Looks like the first hit, that was the big one right there. The first 2 hits weren't bad, but just couldn't get the car stopped, and in that tire barrier he went, and that's where the catastrophic damage came from there.
Yeah, being the professional driver I am, Rob, I have slid on that grass there at Phillip Island, and I can attest, once you get going, unless they're growing it extra long, you're sliding for a while, and that's rather unfortunate for Chris Lashbrook. Back on board here, or back on to some live race action. We've got Marshall Crocker Jr., Travis Roberto, 1 and 2, and still over 6 seconds ahead of Jacob Dick, but Travis Roberto's been applying all kinds of pressure since the drop of the green flag, but Marshall Crocker Jr. is holding on strong.
Yeah, the battle of the prancing horses here up front. Barbie versus the, that was it's basically the paint scheme they ran on the Mustang last season. They just swapped out the horses from the bucking horse to the pony here on the Ferrari, the prancing horse, I guess it is. So we'll see which driver prevails here. But Jacob Dick still trying to close down those 2 up ahead, but not getting much help from the drivers in behind him as Jenkins falling back a little bit into the clutches of Ryder Poe and Alex Jacobson. We'll see maybe if these 3 drivers can kind of get together here, Rich. Maybe they can reel in Jacob Dick, and the 4 of them can maybe work together to try and reel in our leaders. But Phillip Island, as flowy as it is, not necessarily a draft heavy track. You got a lot of sweeping corners where it doesn't really lend to getting a lot of drafting. It's kind of pulling back in those drivers up ahead of you, as we see Poe making the move on the inside of Jenkins as he went a little wide, and then Jacobson trying to capitalize too as well in behind.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. Take a look here, Jenkins going up the inside, but that's not going to work, and that's actually going to let Jacobson try and apply some pressure around the outside. Jenkins getting it up on the curbing, but managing to keep the car pointed straight. Jacobson, though, applying all kinds of pressure. Great 3-car battle here between Ryder Poe, Anthony Jenkins, and Alex Jacobson. That's what we really want to see, and we've seen a lot of here at FMA. Jenkins sticking it on the outside, now tucking it up on the inside, trying to just kind of get into the mind, I think, right now of Ryder Poe up ahead, letting him know he's there, coming down into this tough section, turn 10, and gonna go 1, 2, 3. That's a 1, 2, 3 for 4th, 5th, and 6th. Woo-hoo. Well, that's for sure. And quite often, if you try and make that move on the driver ahead of you, and you don't get it done, you're not going to gain a spot. You're going to lose a spot because the margin of error is very, very slim. Like, you take a look at Jenkins tucking the nose in a little bit early there than normal. So at turn 4, so that's just making sure that Jacobson doesn't take a dive up the inside. He's kind of got to cover that off, all the while trying to make a charge on Ryder Poe. Ryder Poe's kind of liking that pressure that Jenkins is getting from Jacobson because it is really preventing him from doing anything and trying to capitalize and move up to 4th place.
Oh, for sure. And then on the inset at the same time, we just saw Fernando Rosario make his way around Jacob Williams. We see move him up into 13th place. Jacob Williams in 14th place where he started. One of our few drivers still running where they qualified. Another one of those drivers is actually right in behind him, Gustavo Ferraro. We're used to seeing Gustavo kind of work his way towards the front, kind of out of the norm to see him kind of mired here in mid-pack here, Rich. So we'll see if he can latch on to one of his former teammates in Rosario. No, sorry, that's they were not former teammates. Rosario was on FR Racing. I'm confusing the Brazilians with the Dominicans here tonight, Rich. But Gustavo Ferraro currently in 15th place in the Ford Mustang as he's trying to make that move around Williams here now. Williams going to defensive, but oh man, they almost kind of blows hitting into turn 1.
Yeah, that's good close action, and so far clean action really, Rob. I mean, this has been we're 18 minutes into this race, very, very clean so far. I mean, outside of a little bit of contact there on lap 1 that caused Lashbrook to lose the back end of his car, I haven't seen too much on timing and scoring in terms of incidents involving multiple cars. So drivers getting around here very, very cleanly, and it's a tough track to do that if you're trying to make passes.
Yeah, you don't have a whole lot of overtaking opportunities, so you got to try and force a mistake by that driver that you are trying to get past. And that's why we've seen a number of drivers kind of looking up the inside, looking the outside, trying to fill the mirrors of the car ahead of them, trying to force a mistake. And one of those drivers is going to be trying to do that right now is Dustin Wells, who is now caught up to the back of Ferraro. He's got his teammate as well, and behind him, Jeremy Eshelman. So see if those two Threshold Motorsports drivers here, Rich, can maybe try and find their way into this battle up ahead, but they're bringing Anthony Sorrentino and Timothy Dunn right along with them too as well. It's going to turn into about a 6-7 car battle in a couple moments.
Well, that's perfect. That's what we want. I mean, you get yourself a nice 42 car field or 41 car field. I guess 42 car field, and 7 car battles 20 minutes into the race. Fabulous. And we're not talking at the front, we're not talking at the back, we're mid-pack here, folks. 17th place is Jeremy Eshelman, for instance, and we got cars all up and down. He can go all the way up to 13th place or 12th place, and cars aren't too far ahead of him.
Let's check in and see how Uncle Tank is doing. Driver we haven't seen in a while. We mentioned it earlier on, but he is down 12 spots, so probably not the reacquaintance he wanted to get with the league here, Rich. He's got Nicholas Tucker, who's up 10 spots in behind him, so they're looking to get onto the back of that pack that we were focused on earlier, which now is stretching from, I believe it's Fernando Rosario in 13th place, now all the way back to Nicholas Tucker in 24th place, with Ryan Robertson, Jay Davis, and Faraz Ibrahim not too far behind them too as well.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, unfortunately for Uncle Tank, he was involved in that early incident. Sent him way back, but he's back racing, hasn't given up, and looking to make some moves, trying to get some of those positions back. But here we go, Anthony Jenkins continuing to battle with Alex Jacobson. So Ryder Poe is just a slight gap ahead of them, but Jacobson still applying pressure. Jacobson looking for a couple of those positions back. He lost early on. He sends it up the inside, uses a little bit of the grass. Jenkins closes that an opportunity down. Sorry. Not getting by here there, Alex. Not unless you wanted to, put four-wheel drive and mud bogging tires on that Ferrari.
Some of our drivers might need them here, Rich. I've seen a number of cars dropping the tires into the grass, kicking up some dirt. That's one of the other things here with PHILLIP Island is not a whole lot of runoff, where if you drop a tire off, you catch that grass, you could spin very easily. You don't have even any AstroTurf like you see in a lot of the British tracks where you throw that green AstroTurf, or even they kind of paint it, the cement on the side to make it look like AstroTurf, or that little bit of extra runoff to make that move, you're kind of flirting with danger here. You're dropping tires at PHILLIP Island. Let's go a little further back in the pack here. We got a battle between Aaron Siebens and Mark Osier. This may be for 32nd and 33rd place, but they are battling tooth and nail. They're actually teammates here, coming to almost blows here, Rich, between Osier and Siebens. But just ahead of them, Alexander Katori and Curtis Kinnicker. I'm wondering, Katori looks like he's on permanent razzle dazzle there. Not sure if maybe he's got a button stuck on his wheel. We'll see if maybe the front of the car comes. He's on permanent razzle dazzle. Rich, his car has Tourette's or seizures.
He's on his way to the rave there, Rob. I don't know. Like
he made a wrong
right
turn.
On, Alexander.
Made a wrong turn in Las Vegas. He was looking for the EDM festival, and he wound up in Land Down Under. But that's got to be driving Curtis Kinnicker ahead of him crazy to see that flashing nonstop in behind him.
Oh, here we go. Speaking of driving us crazy, is this battle is continuing to get going here. We got Uncle Tank kind of he's moving out of the way, but Jenkins and Jacobson continuing to go to blows every single corner. Jacobson's not afraid to send it. You look at him get up real close. Sometimes he tries to stick nose in the inside, but Jenkins so far has had perfect car placement. There's just nowhere on the corners where Jacobson gets that run for him to make a move. Like, you're not going to make a move here at this corner, not if you're anyway sane. And coming down here into turn 10, it's also a tough opportunity. Jenkins getting all up in the business, or sorry, Jacobson all up in the business of Jenkins. But really what he's got to concentrate is getting this excellent corner exit here, because it's all about the draft, getting that car tucked in here. If you don't get a great corner exit here, the best passing opportunity is turns 1 and 2, just up ahead.
And don't tell me you can't make a pass there. Rich, you can make a pass anywhere. You just got to force the guy ahead of you off the track. Any corner is the opportunity to make that pass. It's some of the best passes you can make is on the corners where the guy's not expecting you to make that move, because it's quote-unquote a non-passing corner. As we see Jacobson looking to the inside. Jenkins, I think he's finally going to make that pass stick here, as I'm not sure if Jenkins is kind of backed out, maybe trying to relieve a little bit of the pressure, and he's going to allow Jacobson through. See, maybe Jacobson now can pull them up to the front of the pack. But speaking of the front of the pack, Marshall Crocker Jr. has opened up a bit of a gap now over Travis Roberto. I'm not sure if something happened to Roberto or not, but 3.2 seconds now between Crocker Jr. and the Barbie car of Travis Roberto. So I'm not sure, maybe Roberto just backed out a little bit to try and save some tires, or if he maybe made a mistake. I'm having a look at timing score. I'm not seeing anything kind of popping up here, Rich, as far as an incident. Maybe he just dropped a tire off track, but we'll see. He was able to regroup here and mount that charge, but he's got plenty of room over Jacob Dick right now, who has fallen back even farther than Marshall Crocker, now 10 seconds back of our leader.
Yeah, that's, Marshall Crocker Jr., since he came into this league, he's just been consistently up at the front or near the front. I believe his first 2 or 3 races were all second places, and a solid effort from Marshall Crocker Jr. today. Travis Roberto, no slouch himself, so second place is not too shabby. He's about 3 seconds back. We've still got a pit stop to go, so anything can really happen.
And we're seeing a number of drivers come in to get that fuel stop out of the way here now. Ryder Poe, Steven Sabsiter, Anthony Jenkins, to name a few of those drivers. So we'll see now if maybe Marshall Crocker, Travis Roberto, Jacob Dick answer back. That the back half of the top 10 has come in to make that stop. But driver who continues to work his way up through the field is Tony Sorrentino right now. Rich got himself up 23 spots. A couple of those due to drivers popping in to get their pit stop done, but can't really take any discredit from him on this one. He's managed to make his way up through the field as he looks to the inside of Dustin Wells. He's going to take that spot away from him too as well. Make it 24 spots gained now for Anthony Sorrentino.
You don't need a Ferrari to win, folks. You don't need a Ferrari to be fast. That's all I'm got to say. Look at this great job in the Porsche of Anthony Sorrentino. Not often you're happy to have to starting down in 32nd place, but when you do, you drive like this, folks. Great job, Tony.
So Marshall Crocker Jr. has come in for his pit stop. Travis Roberto is going to take over the lead, and he promptly puts in the fastest lap of the race right after Rich. So I'm starting to think maybe he backed off to save a little fuel, and he realizes now that since Crocker's popped in, he's trying to take advantage of that. But speaking of taking advantage, it looks like Chase Matsko into as well for his pit stop. I think we saw Fernando Rosario peel off too as well. There's Jody Nielsen in. Jacob Williams into as well. So we're seeing majority of the rest of the field has come in. We're still waiting for stops from our top 8, and then a couple of other the stragglers through the field a little farther back here. So it's gonna be interesting to see where those drivers come out. Roberto with this extra lap, is he able to take advantage of the pit stop by Crocker? Sometimes you get that extra lap and just the mindset where you really got to push, trying to put in that quick time to take advantage of that extra lap, and that you're potentially going to pop into the pits, take a little bit extra fuel, or a little bit less fuel, kind of plays with you and actually put it in a slow lap. So we'll see here. I suspect there's Roberto coming in now, so we'll keep an eye on Marshall Crocker Jr. as he is, where is he right now? He is now on the back half of the lap, so it'll be interesting to see where they cycle through here, Rich.
Yeah, Marshall Crocker Jr. still in 4th place. He's the 3 guys ahead of him have all pitted now, so Crocker Jr., I think he's going to be okay here, Rob, but we'll find out shortly. He was 43 seconds cone to cones. We'll see how Travis Roberto works out. Right now, we're taking a look here. Marshall Crocker Jr. coming around the last big sweeping corner, leading on to the straightaway. And Travis Roberto is now exiting pit lane. It looks like it's going to be Marshall Crocker Jr. We see the Barbie car in behind, so looks like if everything keeps going as it is, Travis Roberto may have picked up about a second or so, or 3/4 of a second on Marshall, but nice job there by Travis Roberto closing that gap down a little bit.
And I think he's going to end up back right more or less where that gap was, as Crocker Jr. is going to have his tires back up to temp. He'll be able to keep going, where it's going to take about half a lap here or so for Roberto to get back up to operating temperature. And we see that gap continue to climb, 2.2 seconds or so. But Jacob Dick looks like he was actually the big winner on that, as he was about 9 seconds back of Roberto. He's actually closed up a couple seconds here now on the back from, still about the same distance to Marshall Crocker Jr., but Jacob Dick looks like a solid P3 right now for him. Anthony Jenkins back on the track in behind Ryder Poe. We've seen these two battling for the better half of this race that we've seen so far. Porsche versus BMW. Nice to see non-Ferraris up in our top 10.
Yeah, Alex Jacobson he was also a winner in pit strategy, because he managed to jump ahead of Ryder Poe. He'd already made that move in Anthony Jenkins, but he's up ahead of these two drivers. But yeah, it's nice to see Jenkins. He's been in the mix of some good battling. That's what you want when you're racing, folks. You want to have those good close battles. So Jenkins and Poe having those battles. We're on board here with the webcam also of Sasha Andrick in 23rd place. Connor Stergos in behind him. So Sasha having a decent effort thus far. He's up 3 positions, 23rd place, 10th in the Pro-Am class, and right now doing a good job trying to hold off Connor Stergos.
They head back to Justin Moskowitz, missing the front end of that Corvette. It almost looks like a Ferrari with no front end on it. Don't at me on that one.
I gotta ask a question. I don't think it was last week. I think it might have been 2 weeks ago. We had a car driving around that looked just like that, with no front end, and I thought it was Justin Moskowitz, and he had a good race. So my memory may be fuzzy, folks, but man, that's always makes it a little bit tougher to drive.
You are correct. It was that ghost liveried Corvette of Moskowitz that looks like he actually even picked up some speed when he lost the front end. But speaking of speed right now, Fernando Rosario, a little bit of a hip check to Jeremy Eshelman, going to take that spot away. Oh, and he's going to go off track himself. That's going to lose him a spot to Eshelman. Sorrentino and Ferraro are going to get around him too as well. Mark Nelson a little too far back to take advantage. But you can see how quickly it can go from, you think you're doing good, you get around a driver, and the next thing you know, you're off track. And I mentioned how tight the limits are with that curbing. You get into the grass, as we see Rosario sliding the back end around up over the curb. But you see how quickly he can lose spots with dropping a tire into the grass. Now he's feeling some pressure by Mark Nelson. Might even lose another spot here.
Yeah, it could do. And yeah, we're sitting here at Phillip Island, folks. We're not one of those sucky Formula One tracks like Coda or whatnot, or Silverstone, where the runoffs, 20 cars wide. You're off the course here. You're in the grass. You're in the dirt. But good battle here between Mark Nelson and Fernando Rosario. Mark Nelson kind of smells, sniffing blood in the water here. Rosario just bleeding pace, and Nelson's turn. This is turn 2 here, Rob. This is the part where you can go ocean bound. Nelson managed to save it and keep it off the wall, though.
Yeah, he's going to lose a couple spots to Nathan Fuller, and I think Adam Brady going to get by too as well. He's looking to the inside. He'll take that spot. Jacob Williams sniffing around too as well. Second place in AM class. He doesn't want to really risk a podium position here in his class, although he does have Ryan Robertson right in behind him. So battle for second and third in AM class here between Williams and Robertson. As we see Robertson looking to the inside of Williams, going to force Williams out wide. Now it's a run down the straight. Who's going to get the overlap? Looks like Robertson going to be able to take that spot away. Williams going to tuck in behind him. It's going to drop him down to third spot in class. Still a podium position here as they're well ahead of Faraz Ibrahim, the current fourth place driver in AM class.
Yeah, I'm just taking a look at this track map. I mean, we got cars everywhere. I mean, we're 33 minutes into this race. There isn't 100 yards or 100 meters of track space much open here. There's just cars lined up all over the place. And speaking of lined up, Ryder Poe and Anthony Jenkins and Ryder Poe. Anthony Jenkins sending it. Anthony Jenkins taking a little bit of advantage there. Ryder Poe now looking for a little bit of revenge himself.
I'm not sure if Poe backed out early to give him that spot, or Jenkins just decided he was going to drive it that deep into the corner, Rich. But definitely a different variance in brake markers for those two drivers. But Jeremy Eschman, the Alpha Rebar reinforcement sponsor of the season here, doing well, up 5 spots into 12th place, currently 4th in Pro-Am as he's battling with, I believe that's Bronco, one of our lap down cars up ahead of him. But he'd like to try and chase down Jody Nielsen, who's about 3 seconds up ahead of him for final step on the podium in Pro-Am class. Right now he's got Gustavo Ferraro right in behind him, driver we saw in a bit of a battle with Rosario, and then unfortunately Rosario went off track, but Anthony Sorrentino right there too as well. And then there is Rosario, got himself back on track and back under control here, Rich, so he'll be looking to try and move up through the field. But our biggest mover of the day still is Anthony Sorrentino, up 18 spots from where he started.
It's kind of day you want. I mean, if the starting position isn't where you want, all you can do is move forward, and the best of moving forward so far today, Tony Sorrentino. 14th place is we're getting under lap 24. We're taking a look at this battle here between Jenkins and Ryder Poe. These guys have been battling, well, kind of like this for the better part of the race, along with Jacobson. Jacobson's kind of gapped them now by 5 seconds, but Poe and Jenkins still having at it.
Yeah, it looks like at this point in time, Rich, I think this battle is going to go down to the wire between these two drivers on who's going to take 5th spot, as they've fallen back about 5.5 seconds now from Alex Jacobson in 4th place, and then Jacob Dick another 10 seconds up ahead of them too as well. So they really don't have much to lose here. As long as they keep it on track and don't wreck each other, they can carry on this battle. It's it's always more fun when you get somebody to battle with, especially when you're out of touch with picking up any positions up ahead of you. And they're comfortably ahead of Steven Zabsiter, our top Pro-Am driver, who is just coming around the final corner there now. But he has Kyle Mavis right in check there. Kyle Mavis fell down after the pit stops. He was holding on to that top spot in Pro-Am. Zabsiter was able to leapfrog him here, Rich. So let's see if Mavis is going to try and take the win here again and get himself a real stranglehold on the Pro-Am season to start 3 weeks into this one. He's going to have to try and get himself around Steven Zabsiter, who's right now shaping up to be his toughest competition in Pro-Am this season.
That's for sure, and that's Mavis, I don't know. I thought I don't know, Rob. I was expecting to be a little closer to the front this week, and based on what we had seen a little bit earlier, but I really shouldn't be. I mean, I'm not disappointed. He's just been that good all season long, and he definitely had some great pace in the last season. So Kyle Mavis and Steven Zabster, nice, good battle here for the Pro-Am division. We've got McLaren, we've got Ferrari. Hey, that's what you want to see. Oh, look at this. Going up the inside is Kyle Mavis, diving it down in turn 10, takes a little bit of the dirt. That's going to set Steven Zabster up, looking to get a great corner exit and try and maybe get that position back going into turn 1.
I'm trying to think back of all the times we interviewed Kyle Mavis. I'm trying to remember if he said he listens to the broadcast as he's racing. Maybe you heard us talking a little bit of smack about him not being up as high as maybe you thought he was going to be rich, and he said, I'll show those guys. I'm just going to make this move around Zabster and get back into the top of the class. But Matt Mars, who is in chat watching this, just reminded me of something he told me a week or two ago. Ryder Poe is a 14-year-old youngster out here battling in the top 5 of this league, and I believe the range in drivers for this season, Ryder Poe being the youngest, I believe, if I remember correctly, I think it's Marc Ossier. If I remember correctly to what Matt told me, is somewhere in either his 70s or the 80s. Let me see if I can go back and find that chat just to give you a range of the age gap that we have in these drivers. And we have these battles out here.
Yeah, you go look for that. Well, I'll cover off the racing. I mean, and not only that, Ryder Poe maybe at 14. He's also the only one in the top 5 not running a Ferrari, folks. You don't have to run a Ferrari. Oh, no! And Jenkins, and who was that got spun around there? I missed that a little bit, but...
that was
the lap car of Alexander Berger. Yeah.
Steve-O
I was going to say, I thought that was Jacobson, yeah, but...
Yeah. And I have made the find here, Rich. Marc Ossier is 72, and Ryder Poe is 14. As you see, Berger lose it there.
Spring chicken, Mark.
So Mark is still younger than Richard Swindell's. I mean,
hey. Okay, young man.
So hats off to them. It just goes to show when it comes to sim racing, you know what, you're only as young or as old as you feel. As we see here, Marc Ossier make his move around Curtis Kinnicker, who's lost the front end of that McLaren, so looking very similar to the Corvette that we saw of Justin Moskowitz. A couple drivers missing the front end there, as Ossier going to take that move around, and now Alexander Katori, he's going to try and put some pressure on the back of Kinnicker too as well. Katori still with the old razzle-dazzle on permanent display on the front end of that BMW. You know what? It's funny, you never see a BMW use its signals on the highway, but here it is using its flashers on the racetrack.
Yeah, we covered one other race one time, and they had their mic button mapped to the same button as their headlights, so every time they talked, the lights flashed, and that was interesting as well. But anyhow, we're going to go to some racing without razzle dazzles. Nathan Fuller, 16th place, he's down 3 positions in the Ferrari, and Fernando Rosario up ahead of them. Rosario's had an adventuresome day, or an adventuresome evening here at Phillip Island, but down on the inset, Ryder Poe continuing to battle along with Anthony Jenkins. So great racing here. We're over 40 minutes into this race. Look at these cars on the big screen. We got 3 cars back to back to back, and if that's what you want to see, it's just great action.
Yeah, it's the lap car went line that they're going by here now, but you know what? You said it here, Rich. Tons of action all across the track. Basically, everybody has somebody to race with on the track at this point in time. I think you mentioned earlier the track map basically littered with multicolored dots all across the entire extremities of it. And I'm not really seeing any room for anybody to really have any real racing room. You're going to be involved in traffic, whether you're a lap down on the lead lap, anywhere there. But Nathan Fuller and Fernando Rosario battling out Gustavo Ferraro just ahead of them. But as you mentioned, Rosario, a bit of an adventurous day, but for all of his ups and downs here, Rich, he's still +6 from where he started on the day.
Hey, that's pretty impressive. But it hasn't been that bad. Just you dip a wheel off or here onto the grass, and it's going to cost you anywhere from 2 to 5, 6, 8 positions. And Rosario experienced that. Uncle Tank there. Take a look here. He was down in 26th place, but still battling on here. Unfortunate for Tank, that early incident.
Take a look here. Something happened with our leader here, Rich. Crocker Jr. had that 3-second gap after the pit stops, but he's going to go off track. Oh. It cost him a bit of time, and now he has Travis Roberto hot on his tail. The Barbie car trying to chase down the Ken machine of Marshall Crocker up ahead. As we're now at 2 minutes and 50 seconds left, we're going to have approximately 2 laps to go when they cross the line here, Rich. It's going to shape up for a battle between these two cars that started on the front row. Marshall Crocker Jr. This is the most pressure we've seen him under all race. Can Travis Roberto find a way around? Can Marshall Crocker Jr. hold him off? You can see Roberto going wide now, dropping a couple tires into the grass.
Yeah, it's almost like Marshall was like, okay, let's have a battle for the last couple laps. Just going a little wide. That's all it takes here. We've seen it, with Rosario. We've seen it with others. And Travis Roberto right back into this one. So just to have a second gap. We're on lap 30. We're going to go one more after this, it looks like. Unless something catastrophic happens. We're going one more after this anyways, folks. So far, so good for Crocker Jr. He let Roberto get close, but so far, Roberto is not really getting the gap much closer. He's really got to be right at the rear bumper. Oh, getting right out of the way there was Tucker. So thank you very much, and diving out of the way. Roberto looking to close that gap down as they're coming around. Once they get around to the last couple of corners, he's got to be right there if he wants any chance.
Yeah, time running out here on Travis Roberto. Only a few more corners left on this lap here. But yeah, Nicholas Tucker wanted to have nothing to do with that lead battle. Rich peeled off the track. Love to see it. He wasn't in a battle himself. So just going to get out of the way and let these two come through and battle it out. But Roberto is right there. Any mistake by Crocker and he is ready to pounce. But see a lot of dust being kicked off by both these drivers, Rich, really trying to push the track limits as far as they can. We've seen what happens when you push a little too far, but down the front straight they go. They're going to pick up with the white flag here. Who's it going to be, Rich? Is Crocker going to hold off Roberto? Is Roberto going to find a way around? Or maybe are they both going to end up in flames into the ocean off on the exit at turn 2?
Yeah. Roberto's sticking the nose out, giving him the old rope-a-dope. Marshall Crocker Jr., he's looking forward. Didn't even phase him. Coming around here, turn 2. Turn 2, the big sweeper. It's all about timing it right, and Crocker Jr. gets that right. Roberto applying all kinds of pressure, but so far so good for Marshall Crocker Jr. I think this is the next best passing opportunity here. Turn 4, Roberto's too far behind to do anything. The next little section here, unless you send it up the inside, but once again, Roberto just not close enough to get that done, but he's really, really trying hard. Applying all kinds of pressure to Crocker. Crocker Jr. managing to hold him off for now.
Yeah, it's a movable force here trying to get around is Travis Roberto. Can he hold on to second place? We've seen him be strong, but unfortunately make a mistake here or there to really cost this race, Rich. But they only have limited number of corners here to go. Roberto going to go off wide. That's going to seal it for Marshall Crocker Jr., I think, as they head around the final corner, down the front straight here and now. As long as Marshall Crocker Jr. has enough fuel to get himself there, he's going to take round 3 at PHILLIP Island. Travis Roberto going to have to hold on to second place. Jacob Dick, bit of a lonely race for him after he dropped Alex Jacobson off the back. He's just been kind of putting in laps here. He's going to come home in third place. It's back to the sharp end of the Pro-Am field where Kyle Mavis has been able to open up over Steven Zabsiter. Ryder Poe, the 14-year-old, going to hold off Anthony Jenkins and come home in 5th overall as well as 5th in class. There comes Jenkins there, but we'll go back to the Pro-Am battle. Kyle Mavis across to take the win there. There comes Steven Zabsiter out of the final corner with Nigel Steely in behind him. Steely going to take top spot, and congrats to him in the top 10 too as well. Chase Matsko in 10th place overall. Jody Nielsen going to round out the podium in Pro-Am class. We go back a little bit here to Ryan Robertson, 2nd place in AM. He's coming in through the final corner too as well. He's going to get, I think this might be his first podium finish in AM class here in FMA. So hats off to him. And then Jacob Williams going to round out the podium as he's coming to the line here now. Nice race for him. Down 6 spots when he started, but he's still going to snatch away that podium in AM class.
Yeah, taking a look here, Dustin Wells, 24th place overall, 5th place in AM. Not his strongest race, but still finishing. We have Jay Davis, Nicholas Tucker, Sasha Andre coming through. Oh, Nicholas Tucker doing a little bit of the Travis Roberto move, and a little off onto the grass, and I really can't fault Travis Roberto.
Alexander Katori into the tire barrier at the end. I'm not sure if he's going to make it back through, but he definitely won't be having any more razzle dazzle on the front end of that BMW.
The lights are still working.
On the front end of that BMW, Rich, it's no longer operable. But that's going to wrap things up here for the race. We'll take a look at our final results here in a couple seconds. But you know what? Phillip Island, it's I mentioned off the top, it's not a track that I'm all that excited to race at, but generally it brings forth a pretty good broadcast, as we saw it right down the line between Marshall Crocker and Travis Roberto. But let's take a look at our results here. First off, let's take us through the pro class here, Rich.
Yeah, pro class winner. He started at the front, finished to the front. Marshall Crocker Jr. 2nd place with a strong effort, Travis Roberto. In 3rd place, a solid by himself with Jacob Dick. 4th place, we had Alex Jacobson. 5th place, young Ryder Poe. In 6th, Anthony Jenkins. 7th place, we had Chase Matsuko Matsko. In 8th, Tony Sorrentino with a strong comeback. Fernando Rosario 9th. Mark Nelson 10th. Uncle Tank 11th. Chris Lashbrick, unfortunate start for the race. And Macon Gazzoni, no, he finished well back.
Yeah, rough race for Macon Gazzoni. Over in Pro-Am, we saw Kyle Mavis going to take another win here in Pro-Am class ahead of Steven Zabziter and Jody Nielsen. That's ahead of Jeremy Eschman, Ferraro, Frith, and Sturgos. Dunn, Davis, and Andrick rounding out our top 10. And actually, I just was told here from Matt Mars that it looks like Dustin Wells moved himself up into Pro-Am 2 as well. So let's see if that affects anything. No, he's still going to finish in well back in the Pro-Am class. So rough race for the big cheese here tonight, Rich.
Yeah, rather unfortunate for the big cheese, but what are you going to do? Man, Nigel Steely, solid race, eh? 1st place. What that was just a solid effort. Anytime you get yourself in the top 10, and as an amateur, you got to be thrilled.
Yeah, Nigel Steely taking top spot in AM ahead of Ryan Robertson and Jacob Williams. I should say comfortably ahead of Ryan Robertson, Jacob Williams. So Steely finished 9th overall. Robertson finished 17th overall. So dominating performance in AM class here tonight for Steely. Jacob Williams in 3rd, Faraz Ibrahim in 4th. That's going to move Moskowitz, Tucker, Kinnicker, Katori, Siebens, and Bejoy into the rest of the top 10 as Dustin Wells will be moved into the Pro-Am class. So all in all, pretty great race for a number of drivers, Rich, and also another number of drivers who probably want to never see Phillip Island again in the near future.
You say that, Rob, but there was the over-under and on the YouTube chat before the race, and I just guessed over, and we really didn't have that many people suffer as much as I thought we would, especially with the turn 2, with the grass everywhere, with whatever that is on the infield going around the sweeper of turn 2 that cost Chris Lashbrook. But overall, most of the cars and most of the drivers got through here unscathed.
They certainly did, and the driver who got through unscathed and at the sharpest end of the track was this man right here, Marshall Crocker Jr. Marshall, congrats. Another win under your belt. Round 3 here at Phillip Island. Looks like a little bit of pressure there at the end, off track with about 3 or 4 laps to go. Really put Roberto on your back bumper. But were you calm, cool, collected behind the wheel, or a little bit of gripping the wheel tight?
No, I to be honest, I think I kind of got practice, getting the nerves out there in that first stint before Travis went off. I kind of did the practice for the real thing. I knew it's so tough to pass here in the corners that you really have a good opportunity to just send it up the inside. I actually tend to take pretty tight anyway. So it worked out that I was going to be pretty good on defense. You never know. Like I have good trust in Travis. We've had close races. My first race here in FMA ever, he and I had a photo finish at Olton Park. He raced me clean. So I didn't think he was going to try anything crazy, but that was kind of the nerve, right? Once I had that little off, I wasn't sure what the lap car was going to do. Gave too much room and went off. So it was definitely stressful there towards the end, but I'd had so many laps with him closer than that right there behind me, and always found a way to have just enough that I had a little bit of confidence, but 2 or 3 more laps that would not have been the case. That's the most fun I've had in a win in FMA.
Now, you mentioned the lap traffic, where it looked like Rich and I mentioned a couple times on our track map, is basically look like Skittles or M&Ms, depending which side of the
Exactly.
the border you are and which candy coated chocolate you prefer, all across the track where there was no room for anybody out there. How tough was navigating the traffic here tonight?
It was tough. It was tough because this is such a one groove, get in a rhythm, get in your kind of mindset kind of track, and it's not really getting past the lap drive. I had 2 that were a little bit tough, but it is what it is, right? Like that's the first time I've had trouble with them this season. If 2 cars in 3 races, all I got, it is what it is. But it is tough because you just get out of your line. You're kind of on a railroad. You're kind of head down. Once you got to reset, take a corner in a weird angle, it loses you some time. And I think today, generally speaking, I think Travis seemed to do a better job of that. He was finding more time through the traffic than I was, and I always think that's one of the things I'm best at. So I know it was trouble for me. It didn't seem to be trouble for him, so I won't speak for everybody. But at a tight circuit like this, you can only do so much. Didn't get wrecked, so can't complain.
Oh, for sure. Next week we head to Circuit Spa, which is going to be drastically different than the Phillip Island here. You're going to have probably some traffic issues there, but it's going to be spread out a little bit more. But before we let you go here, Marshall, anybody you want to give a shout out to cheering you on at home? Let's hear it for the girlfriend.
100%. Well, the girlfriend, I think, is out with the gals tonight, so I don't think she was out there. Maybe that took the pressure off my back.
She better have her phone up on whatever table she's at there watching you then, Marshall, cheering you on.
We'll find out. The relationship hangs in the balance. But, no, other than that, always shout out to you guys. Shout out to Chase. Matt Mars, other admin, he's off in some beautiful Caribbean place here today. I saw a photo where he's at. He's the real winner here tonight. But yeah, no, heck of a drive. Shout out to Travis for holding me honest, man. It's good to actually get to go a full race with him. We had a netcode issue last week that was a shame. A shout out of the week. I always love positivity. Jacob Williams, my teammate today, man, comes home P3 and AM. Really proud of him. He puts in great work. He was particularly fast this week. And our favorite part, middle of the race, I don't remember who it was. I won't name them by name, but he had a bit of a run-in with somebody. And Jacob's the most buttoned-up guy you'll ever meet. Former most sportsmanlike driver last season. He was going off, cussing at him. He was getting the elbows out verbally. We were really excited. So he found that dog in him today, and for that, I'll make him my shout out of the week. But that's all. Thank you for Rob and Rich, everything you guys do. We'll see you guys in a week's time. And I don't know if you heard, me and Alex Jacobson got a little bit of a point we're making. We're running a different car next week. We've got permission from the admins. We have a little bit of a message we want to send to something that's been chatted in the race room. So we'll elaborate that next week, but you'll see Alex Jacobson and I in a different car. So look forward to that.
I always love a little bit of drama. Best of luck next week, Marshall. We expect to see you at the sharp end of the field at Spa, so take care.
Have a great one, guys. Thank you.
It was our race winner, Marshall Crocker Jr. in Pro Class as well as the overall. Let's see who else we got in the booth here. We don't have Travis Roberto, so let's bring in our third place finisher in Pro Class, third overall as well, Jacob Dick, to catch up with Richard Swindells.
Jacob, congratulations. Solid podium effort.
Yeah, it was actually quite unexpected going into tonight. I was kind of guessing maybe a top 5, top 10 at best. I had no practice going into tonight, so it's kind of just a free ball it and hope for the best.
Well, imagine where you'd be if you had some practice. It must have seemed a little lonely out there for you though tonight.
Definitely. I think after the green flag waved, I think the only car I saw was a back marker. and that was about every 5 laps. Other than that, it was just clean air for the whole race.
Well, you can get that clean air when you've got the pace you had. You certainly had good pace all day long. You kept out of trouble, got the podium. FR Racing is, you did all right. Fernando Rosario did okay. He had some little off-track adventures, but managed to get up 6 positions overall from where he started. So good team effort tonight.
I definitely say so. I was actually talking to the guys before hopping in, and I was just like, hey, good luck, guys. It's going to be an interesting race, probably, especially first few laps. Next thing I know, I see Chris going off into the grass, and I was like, oh, that's just not good. But wait, what position did Fernando end up in? I wasn't actually able to catch.
Fernando was, I forget. He ended up 15th overall. So up 6 positions from where he started.
Ninth in class, I think it was.
9th in class, yeah.
Oh, okay, that's not bad at all then. Good result then overall.
And so next week we're going to Spa. Gonna do good things again in Spa. Are you expecting good things? I'm guessing you were not gonna have to practice that as much. Maybe you know that track a little better than PHILLIP Island.
Oh, I know the track very well, but I'm still gonna practice for it. I'm gonna practice very hard for it. I'd like to be able to contest Marshall and Travis for the win, and if I can't contest for the win, just get back on the podium again.
Awesome. That's what we like to hear, Jacob. Any shout-outs tonight?
I'd like to shout out Ball State Esports. They do a great job getting us ready. I have some amazing teammates, including Fryman, who could not make it tonight, but he's always a great guy to practice with. Shout out my parents for, supporting me in this, quite fun and entertaining hobby that I am able to do. And shout out my pets.
Right on. There you go, Jacob. Next time we get you on, you start naming off the pets. We'll talk to you maybe we'll talk to you next week. Congratulations.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
It was a 3rd place finisher in pro in the overall, Jacob Dick. Let's bring in our Pro-Am winner, who has been a bit of a problem here for the rest of the Pro-Am class so far this season. Kyle Mavis. Kyle, that's going to be back-to-back podiums for you here to kick off the season. You take the win here at PHILLIP Island. Talk us through your race.
Oh boy. Yeah, it was, dramatic. I think, obviously we all kind of knew that cold tires coming into a very fast turn 1 and then a very tricky turn 2 was always going to be a bit of a scenario, and escaped out of there without too much damage, and then got a little caught up in lap traffic there towards the mid race right before the pit stops, and went off track and kind of thought, hey, I might just be trying to fight for a 3rd place podium, and had a good pit stop, good in lap, good out lap, and next thing I know, I was able to put the heat on Steven and start to run him down, and made some good moves back, and just managed to slide up on the inside there into turn 10, which is in some of the AI races had been a place I've been able to make a pass that kind of over the top of the crest at turn 9, and then stick it on the inside there in turn 10 and just sort of park it on the apex on him, and works pretty well if you can pull it off. So very happy to be back at number 1. Kind of didn't expect it, but hey, I'll take the win anytime.
So we got to ask, because it was almost like clockwork, where Richard Swindells was saying he was kind of surprised to see that
I was throwing some shade. I got to admit it.
He was saying he was surprised you weren't up a little farther than what he expected you to do, and then probably about 3 or 4 corners later, you made the pass on Sabsiter to get back at the top of class. So were you listening to the broadcast a little bit in the background? You thought, I'm going to take a prove this guy wrong here. I'm going to move back in the top spot.
I could feel some tingling. I wasn't sure if there was, one of the cats was walking by behind me and messing with me, but it must have just been, that spider sense tingling, and got the extra little bit of motivation I needed to make that move there.
Now, see, the right answer would have been, I was listening to it. I said, I'm going to shut that guy up. I'm going to make a move around it. We head to Spa next week here, Kyle, a track that everybody knows. So you're going to have to put in a ton of work to stay strong at the sharp end of the field. But before we let you go, any shout outs to anybody cheering at home and helping you out this season?
No, just, obviously, again, thanks to the team. Marshall and I obviously had a lot of talks, over the week. I was kind of traveling most of the week, so hadn't been in the sim for about 7 days there, about 6 days there. So I had a quick little chat with him today, talked about some strategies and some corners to help me find a little bit of last second speed. he's been so great coaching up. Obviously you saw what our amateur did. I mean, heck, another podium's finished there, qualified right behind me. So thanks to those guys. Thanks to you guys for putting on this great broadcast. It's been amazing. I can't wait to come back next week.
Well, best of luck next week heading into round 4 at Spa, Kyle. And hopefully we're talking to you again. Take care.
Thanks so much.
That was our top Pro-Am driver. Looks like we got a couple of AM drivers here waiting to talk here. Rich, let's bring in our race winner of dominant performance in AM class, Nigel Steely, who's going to catch up with Richard Swindells.
Yeah, that was a dominant performance. Congratulations. Well done. Top 10, 9th place overall as well.
Yes, thank you guys. I just got this track 2 days ago, so.
Oh man,
I'm shocked.
I just don't have those kind of skills, Nigel. That was a great race. You're right in the mix of it, battling it out with the faster classes. This Phillip Island really agrees with you.
Yeah, I was scared to death to start 7th because I'm an AM driver and I'm a C class, so I don't even get to run these races in officials. And I'm like 876 in iRacing, so, like iRating. So I don't know. I guess I just like the track.
Damn. That's I didn't even notice that till you said that, and you were certainly mixing it up. I can sympathize with you for the fear starting up with the big boys, and but you handled it well. You kept yourself out of trouble. It looked like all race long, and that's half the battle here at Phillip Island, having some decent pace and keeping out of trouble. But next week's Spa. I'm assuming you've got Spa and you've tried Spa before?
No, but we'll figure it out. So I pretty much just race ovals. So.
Oh wow! Well, yeah. Spa's going to be a little different track than this one, with a lot more corners and a lot longer track. So you may want to give yourself an extra day of practice, Nigel.
Perfect.
But that was you got to be thrilled. It was a solid race. Great effort, and we look forward to seeing what you can do next week. Anybody you'd like to give thanks to or a shout out?
Just want to thank the league for putting these on, and you guys for announcing them and everything. It's awesome. So pretty much came over here and raced because I saw your guys' broadcast. Thought it was awesome. So appreciate you guys. Thanks, Chase, and everybody else. So.
Well, we thank you for joining us. We thank you for the kind words, and we thank you for the entertaining racing. And hopefully next week we get to talk to you again, Nigel.
Absolutely. You guys have a good one.
You too. Bye now.
That was Nigel Steely, our top AM driver, also finishing 9th overall, so into the top 10 for him. And then it looks like our final interview of the evening is going to be our 3rd place driver in AM class, Jacob Williams, also one of the Iron Horse Motorsport drivers who pretty dominant race here tonight, Jacob, for you and your teammates.
Yes, sir. No, it was a good turnout from the team. We wish Anthony could have finished a little bit better. It sounded like he had gotten caught up in some traffic towards the beginning of the race. I think he had some damage that he had to end up pitting the first lap to get fixed, and then just got stuck in some unfortunate traffic.
Now, we heard from Marshall Crocker, your teammate, earlier, where he said that normally you're calm, cool, and collected in the voice chat with you and your teammates, but he said you had his words, you had the elbows out and you were letting loose with a little bit of chat here this evening as you're involved in some battles out there. How overall was the race for you? How was dealing with the lap traffic and the racers around you? Sounds like you got a little heated.
Yeah, no, I typically try to stay calm, cool, and collective. That's just my nature. But, I wasn't really involved in a lot of the lap traffic. I would say the traffic that was really involved with was a lot of the pros and the pro-ams. And so typically, I'm the kind of guy that, listen, these guys have a lot more pace than me. And it's just, I just kind of let those guys go, essentially just let off the throttle a little bit and just no reason to fight them. Yeah, I would like to finish, a little bit better overall, but ultimately, a podium is what I'm shooting for at the end of the day. That's what, I feel like allows me to grow and learn. But yeah, no, I would say it wasn't necessarily a lot of lap traffic. I did throw out some elbows here and there, just trying to get a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more aggressive, nothing too crazy to where, I ruined my night. But yeah, no, there was one instance where I don't remember who it was, and I'm sure it wasn't anything. It was just hard racing at the end of the day. It's just I don't recall who it was, but there was a little bit of door banging, and I was like, what the heck are we doing here? But it's just part of it.
A little rubbins racing, they say. But next week we head to Spa. Is it a track you're familiar with? I know we've talked to a couple of the AM drivers in the past, and they're just kind of picking up tracks as we go through. But Spa, generally one of those tracks that everybody, their brother, their mother, and their dog knows how to get around. But you're looking forward to next week?
I am indeed. On iRacing, I would say I've only raced it once, so next week will be my second time. And the first time I raced it was pretty forgiving for the most part. I had some self-inflicted wounds, a couple self-spins here and there in the Mustang, but hopefully with the Ferrari, the back end just likes to stay underneath you a little bit better than what the Mustang is. So yeah, hopefully next week is another good performance on my behalf, but also on the teams as well.
Before we let you go, anybody you want to give a shout out to helping you along, getting up to speed each week, and just give you that support in behind the wheel?
Yeah, no, shout out to the guys, Marshall, Kyle, and Anthony, always, those guys, I love them to death. They end up throttling me with a encyclopedia of racing knowledge, and sometimes I just kind of, unfortunately, kind of do the blank a little bit here and there in some races. So, shout out to those guys for, sticking with me and, teaching me a bunch and just ultimately just guiding me up. Hopefully can get a couple more podiums this season. And shout out to you guys, for the awesome broadcasts. You guys do a phenomenal job. I feel like we were saying earlier, Rob, producing and commentating is not easy, but shout out to you guys for, always putting on a heck of a show. And shout out to the admins at FMA. I run another oval league, and so I'm pretty skeptical and I'm pretty picky on other leagues that I tend to join, and I'm pretty opinionated. But man, these guys over at FMA, they do a hell of a job of just clean racing, respectable racing, and that's ultimately what I'm here for at the end of the day. Just because I'm not able to get on the rig as much as what I used to, but shout out to those guys for setting the standards of a hell of a league. I recommend it to anyone. And then shout out to my wife, for allowing me to do this Monday nights, and then periodically through the week, as she's taking care of our baby girl, and allowing me to kind of get some stress away from work and whatnot. But yeah, no, that's shout out to her for allowing me to do this.
Yeah, the wives and girlfriends are always the unsung heroes of any hobby that we have. So
absolutely,
hats off to her. But again, before we let you go, if anybody watching at home wants to let Jacob Williams know that they want him to come over and start working as producer on Racer Nexus, go hit that in the chat. I'm just kidding. I hit Jacob up earlier telling him that we had some needs if you wanted to fill in. But congrats, Jacob. I expect to see big things for you heading into the rest of the season. The halfway point is coming up quickly here with only 2 more races to go before we start looking at the back half of the season. So a lot of battles in the AM class to come. Best of luck next week heading into Spa.
Perfect. Thank you, sir. And thank you to you guys.
Take care. So, Rich, that's going to wrap it up for interviews here this evening. It seems like a lot of drivers really looking forward to next week at Spa. It's just one of those tracks that, it's you mentioned Spa, and any kind of sim race is going to get that little glimmer in their eye. It's a track that they know well and always head into that one feeling confident they might have a good showing, but more often than not ends in tears.
Four wide going down in the Camel Straight is going to be awesome on lap 1, Rob.
I'm sure we're going to see a couple 2, 3, maybe even 4 wide, and then who's going to bail out. But before we go, let's take a look at what we got coming up the rest of the week here on Racers Nexus. You can see we are here on Monday night. Earlier tonight, we had the Pony Express Sim Racing Challenge, and then we got fired up here with FMA. Tomorrow night, Apex, this is back with their Porsche Cup and Throttle Freaks with GT3 action. Thursday night, we see the FMA drivers are back again with their World Endurance Challenge Championship Series on Thursday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And then Sunday, FMA back again with Gen 4 Racing. And then Apex is this, a Mazda Cup. And then I believe next week we're going to have another 3 or 4 leagues to start kicking off the start of their season 2 as well. So things going to get really exciting here next week. To start looking at about 15 broadcasts a week to cover all the leagues. But you know what, Rich? We should probably take a quick look here at the points. I think we forgot all about that at the start of this one. Quickly, the points came into this one in the pro side. Marshall Crocker Jr. came in with a 3-point lead over Alex Jacobson, and then Anthony Jenkins, another 9 points back from them. So we're going to see a little bit of a shuffle in that there. Pro-Am class, Kyle Mavis came in with a 16-point lead over Jeremy Escherman, and that is going to grow over he and Justin Welsh. Justin Welsh not here this evening, so he's going to lose out a number of points. And then in Am class, Aaron Siemens came in leading the way over Moskowitz and Berger, so it'll be interesting to see how things shape up there with strong finishes from Steely, Williams, and who was the other? Ryan Robertson in the M class, so Rich. So things going to be shaking up heading into round 4 at Spa. And last but not least, the Teams Championship, where Threshold Motorsports came in with a lead over Iron Horse Motorsports and Warped Esports, but strong showing by the Iron Horse team, I think is going to vault them up into top spot heading into Spa next week. But that's going to wrap things up here for us. Again, we've been Racer Nexus. I'm Rob Campbell. In the booth with me, the man who has not missed a FMA GT3 race here on Racer Nexus. I'm going to keep saying it until he calls in sick one day. But until that time, he's the Iron Man
call in
here.
sick next week, so you shut up.
He's the Iron Man of FMA GT3 racing here on Racer Nexus. That's Richard Swindells. We'll catch you next week. Same time, same place. Until then, bye for now.